Welcome back to the IPFW Athletic Center and Game 2 between the men's teams from Bellarmine College and IPFW. Great Lakes Valley College basketball at its best. And we are now joining the PA announcer for the starting lineups between these two teams.
Bellarmine College comes in at 7-5 in the conference, 13-8 overall. A 6'4" sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 11, John Ellington. A 6'1" junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 17, Eric Wilson. A 6'7" junior from Louisville, Kentucky, number 22, Randy Moss. A 6'2" senior from Louisville, Kentucky, number 25, Ernest Marshall. And a 6'7" senior from Princeton, Indiana, number 32, Ryan Victor. Bellarmine is coached by Joe Lytle and assisted by Jim Sherbrooks. And now for your IPFW Mastodons. They come in at 7-6 in the conference, 17-6 overall. At one guard, 5'8" senior from Muncie, Indiana, number 4, Lawrence Jordan. At the other guard, 6'5" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 25, Glenn Howard. At one forward, 6'4" sophomore from Muncie, Indiana, number 33, Sam Long. At the other forward, 6'5" senior from Saginaw, Michigan, number 40, Lloyd Surgeon. In the center, a 6'9" freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 44, Doug Weinke. IPFW is coached by Andy Piazza, assisted by John Felski, and the student assistant is Bob.
Okay.
Will everyone please stand for the playing of our national anthem?
This is Dave Skelton along with Charlie Washington as we prepare to bring you this action-filled basketball game. Tonight's second game between the men's teams of Bellarmine College at Louisville, Kentucky, and IPFW Mastodons, the hometown favorite basketball team. Well, Charlie, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, these two teams squared off down at Louisville, Kentucky, and had a real barn burner, a triple overtime. Bellarmine came away with a win. So I think our guys are looking for an opportunity here to get things squared away.
Yeah, and there are a couple of more factors to that victory that Bellarmine had. One, we were suffering from a little jet lag. We had just played Indianapolis, came back to Fort Wayne, and then went back out to Louisville to play. So we were a little tired going into that ball game.
And if I remember right, did not shoot free throws very well, and thus it kept it into a long, long game in the triple overtime. But here we go with the tip-off for tonight's game, as Doug Ranke steps in to jump against number 32, Brian Fichter. Bellarmine controls the tip. John Ellington and Eric Wilson, the guards for Bellarmine. And as we see sneaking underneath the basket that time, number 25, Ernest Marshall with the first basket of the game.
Strangely enough, Dave, Bellarmine has an all-Fort Wayne backcourt.
Yes, they do, don't they? Ellington and Eric Wilson. In fact, Eric played here at IPFW about 3 years ago.
Yes, he did. In fact, he and Lawrence Jordan were roommates for a year.
Old teammate of yours?
Yes, he is.
And we see some tight play inside where Glenn Howard loses the ball. Knocked out of bounds. So IPFW will inbounds the ball. Trailing 2-0. Sam Long to bring the ball inbounds. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Lawrence Jordan penetrates. Dishes off. Lloyd Surgeon with the ball. No shot. Lawrence Jordan looks for the three-pointer. Sam Long looks for the three-pointer, and it's good. And IPFW takes a 3-2 lead, but a quick down floor pass. But as he caught the pass, travel was called against number 25, Ernest Marshall. So very quickly, that ball goes up and down the floor.
Yeah, Ernest was too open that time. He saw that basket, no one between his eyes got pretty big, and the legs just moved without the ball going down.
He didn't want to take a dribble before he got there, did he? He'd been watching that NBA slam dunk that takes off at midcourt. Pass inside to Doug Reinke. Back outside to Sam Long. Sam looking for pass inside. Goes to the top of the key. Glenn Howard. This time Lloyd Surgeon makes a move to right baseline. No good. Back outside. Lawrence Jordan penetrates the lane. Dishes off, and it's tipped away by Bellarmine College. And it looks as though we have, that's counted as a blocked shot. And we have a new shot clock. 45 seconds for IPFW. Shot up and in by Lloyd Surgeon. Nice move inside.
Well, Lloyd's coming off a 29-point performance, so I'm sure he's raring to go. And keep that streak going.
I think that 29 may have been his career high, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
There we see a little errant pass by the Bellarmine Knights. Lawrence Jordan inside. Nice dish off to Doug Reinke, and Doug couldn't quite get the ball past the defense and up and in. 5-2 lead, IPFW at the 18-minute mark of the second half. A steal by the backcourt pressure. Lawrence Jordan puts the shot up, no good. And number 25, Ernest Marshall, comes out with the ball. Brings it down court for Bellarmine. Ellington and Eric Wilson. Eric's a three-point shooter, and there he cashes in. 5-5 tie.
It's very important that Eric hits that first shot, and Eric doesn't really have a limit to his range.
That's right. Lloyd Surgeon with a move into the key. Shot a little hard off the back of the rim. Bounces out. Bellarmine rebounds and comes down court. And an easy shot underneath. As the pass was made, the defense fell asleep there a little bit, Charlie.
Well, that was a good pass by Eric, first of all.
Yes, it was.
I didn't know he had that in his repertoire.
Glenn Howard on the far left side. Ball bounces off of Lloyd Surgeon into the hands of Lawrence Jordan. Lawrence packed it in for a three-point try and missed, or double clutch. Bellarmine appears, Charlie, they get a man down court in a hurry. They sandbag a little bit.
Yeah, they're sending one man every time. They're leaving one off the rebound.
A block shot that time by Doug Reinke, I believe, blocked the shot.
I think he and Glenn Howard got a piece of that one.
7-5 lead. The Bellarmine Knights over the IPFW Mastodons. We've played just a little over 3.5 minutes here in the first half. Great Lakes Valley College basketball. Mike Pittman in it to guard now. And he took a three-point shot, no good. Jordan rebounded. He puts up a three-pointer, no good. Sam Long rebounds, back outside. Mastodons keeping that ball alive as Jordan penetrated. Got the ball in to Doug Reinke, and Doug missed the little soft hook shot.
A couple of times Doug's been a little surprised to get those passes from Lawrence Jordan. You always have to be aware when Lawrence has the ball.
And there we see a drive to the basket by Ernest Marshall, and he draws the foul from Sean Gibson. Ernest Marshall will go to the line to shoot 2. Bellarmine in the lead by 2 at 7-5, and Ernest with an opportunity to stretch that to 5. First free throw is good. Second one on its way. That's also good, and we have a 9-5 lead for the Bellarmine Knights. Mike Pittman in the right side of the court. Back out to Sam Long. And again, a little quick return pass that IPFW is just not quite ready to get that offense rolling yet, Charlie.
Yeah, they're a little sluggish right now. I think Lawrence Jordan's going a little too fast for everyone else right now.
Doug Reinke with the ball at the top of the key. Mike Pittman. Shot is missed by IPFW. They're in a little bit of a dry spell right now offensively. Can't get things going. And there we see the ball picked off by Sam Long, but he couldn't quite get the ball far enough down court to Lawrence Jordan for the lead pass to get a layup. Both teams a little sloppy with their ball handling at the moment. And IPFW comes back up with it. Now Lawrence Jordan has it. Going to bring it down, see if he can't get something moving for the IPFW squad here. And again, they're ice cold and cannot get a shot to fall. And we see a shove-off foul being called against Mike Pittman.
I think one thing, Dave, IPFW is doing right now, they're taking too many outside shots. I think they need to go down inside in the paint and get a couple opportunities down there.
IPFW hit their first 2 shots, Charlie, and now they've missed their last 6. So they're shooting at 2 for 8, which won't win them too many ball games. We'll hope they can get that squared away here shortly.
I think that happens sometimes. When you come out and hit a long jumper, you tend to take some more and some more and some more, and then you start missing. I think that's what happened. They haven't gone inside. They stayed outside and taking the long shots and missed.
You get those first couple of shots to fall, and then you think it's too easy.
Exactly.
Well, we have at the 14.5-minute mark Bellarmine College lead 11-5 over the IPFW Mastodons. You see on your screen the Bellarmine cheerleaders, and they brought a full crew tonight.
Just about as many cheerleaders as they have players.
That's right. As play resumes, I think the ball will belong to Bellarmine College underneath the IPFW basket. Kevin Shank is in the lineup now for IPFW, along with John Heinstrider.
I think Coach Piazza is trying to find the right combination. Sometimes it's a little difficult to do.
And keeping fresh people in the game at all times. Bellarmine down quickly. Eric Wilson with his three-point shot. He's not bashful. And the inside block out by Bellarmine College. And I think the big man, after he got the basket, came down and with a sprained ankle, maybe, Charlie. Or maybe he just hit the deck hard.
And he may have, sometimes when you go up, you come down on someone else's foot and kind of twist your ankle a little bit.
Well, he's walking it off as he goes back down court. And Bellarmine pushes that lead up to 13-5. IPFW needs a good offensive setup this time, where they run their offense, get the kind of shot they're looking for, and they need to get one to fall. Mike Pittman, Lawrence Jordan out the top. Sean Gibson down to the corner to Kevin Shank. Bellarmine in a 2-3 defense at this time, his own defense, that's keeping that inside really clogged up. We saw a little bit of that in the first game by the women's team, Charlie.
Well, I think what IPFW needs to do right now is get a little post-to-post action in the zone. One post man up high and one down low.
And there we have on Kevin on his shot fake, touched the out-of-bounds sideline. turned the ball over. So Bellarmine will come down now with an opportunity to stretch into a 10-point lead. John Ellington with the ball, pulls it back out, set up at the top. We haven't heard much yet from Brandy Monks, but in that first game against Bellarmine down at Bellarmine 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was deadly against us. And there we see the pass inside for a relatively easy layup. IPFW searching right now for the kind of combination as Sean Gibson puts up a 2-point shot. His foot was on the 3-point line. Now Bellarmine gets a little careless, and they'll turn the ball over to the Mastodons.
Sean hit that last basket, but IPFW, I don't think, can live and die by the long jumper.
You know, and especially not if Sean has to be coming that far outside, because he's one of 2 men in the lineup right now with any size at all. And Mike Pittman with the outside shot, and he hits the 3-pointer. So all of a sudden, IPFW hits 5 quick points, and they're back in the game. John Ellington with the ball at the top of the key, looking for an offensive setup for the Bellarmine Knights. And somehow underneath, we have somebody lost on the defense. Randy Monks drops off an easy shot outside, just a 2 or 3 foot jumper right in front. Inside baseline defense is not getting it done right now, Charlie.
But Randy Monk's a good ball player. He does just about everything for
Yes, he does.
Leads him, he's second, a close second in scoring. Leads him in rebounding and assists.
Good move down the lane, and Lawrence Jordan puts in a 10-foot jump shot. 17-12. Bellarmine in the lead. Eric Wilson with the long 3-point shot attempt that is no good, and IPFW rebounds. Lawrence Jordan on the attack and puts it up and in. Lawrence just out-quicks you. If you aren't going to be keeping an eye on him, you're going to get lost.
And one good thing about Lawrence, he plays that way the whole game. He knows only one speed.
And there we see again a nice inside pass, and that those shots in the paint are killing IPFW at the moment.
And right now they're helping Brian Fichter add to his one of the nation's leaders in field goal percentage. He's shooting at about a 68% clip.
And he hasn't shot farther than 4 feet away so far tonight. We see several substitutes for both teams at the scorer's bench waiting to come in at the next dead ball opportunity. Lawrence Jordan with the ball at the top for IPFW. Mike Pittman posting up inside. Interesting move. Lawrence Jordan with an NBA 3, and that's good. Nothing but net. 19-17, Bellarmine lead cut to 2. Eric Wilson with the ball. Down quickly for Bellarmine. Not really a threat to drive, and there we see a pass cut off by Kevin Shank. He couldn't quite catch up with it before it went out of bounds. So the ball will go to Bellarmine College. Out of bounds on the sideline. 10 minutes and 34 seconds to be played here in the first half. Great Lakes Valley College basketball. IPFW and Bellarmine College. Bellarmine is located in Louisville, Kentucky. There we see a steal by Sam Long, and the official got in his way, and he couldn't quite get on there, but he did. Got the basket and was fouled. Nice play that time, Charlie, with Sam staying right with the ball. He had to do a little maneuver around the official and then pass 2 red shirts, and he got the ball in the basket.
I think when Sam first saw the ball, he was thinking about dunking the ball, but after the official got it his way, he just wanted to control it and just lay it in any way he could.
Well, Sam tied the ball game up at 19 and has an opportunity here to give IPFW its first lead of the ball game. And the free throw is good. So at 20-19, 10.5 minutes to play in the first half, IPFW has taken a lead against Bellarmine College, and not very long ago, Charlie, they were down 10 points.
That just goes to show you that these guys won't give up. As a matter of fact, Lawrence Jordan won't let them give up.
And the officials were not watching too closely there. There was a little bit of a scuffling exchange at midcourt between John Ellington and Glenn Howard. And again, the defense caught asleep with a nice soft pass to John Ellington right in front of the basket. He put it in for an easy jump shot. So Bellarmine back on top. As we're beginning to see a part of the game here now where we have lead changes.
Well, one thing I really don't like a lot about these lead changes right now, Dave, is they're scoring most of their points inside, and we're having to shoot our outside jumpers.
Right. I'd rather rely on those inside ones. Lawrence with a short turnaround jump shot. Sam Long with a good inside hustle and knocked it loose, and Lawrence Jordan came up with the ball, and there we see the shot right in front. Lloyd Surgeon missed, gets his own rebound, puts it up and in.
Lloyd might have gotten away with going over the top that time, but we'll take it.
That's right. John Ellington stops and fires the NBA three, and he misses. And there we have a reach-in foul against John Ellington against Lawrence Jordan. Lawrence signals to the bench that it might be time for a breather, although a timeout going to be called here by Bellarmine, and maybe that's all the breather that Lawrence will need.
That's probably all the breather Lawrence is going to get.
Yeah.
And Coach Piazza changes. They have an interchangeable team, but one constant thing about the Mastodons, Lawrence Jordan will always be in there, except for maybe a minute or two.
It's Bellarmine's second timeout here in the first half in just a little over 10 minutes of play. So Coach Joe Reibel must be seeing some things that he would like to make adjustments to quickly and doesn't want to wait till halftime to do it.
Yes, and Dave, speaking of that, of Lawrence Jordan playing a lot of minutes in that triple overtime victory against Bellarmine down in Bellarmine, Lawrence played all 55 minutes.
Didn't miss a tick of the clock.
The whole game and all three overtimes. Lawrence played the whole game.
That's a lot of playing time in one night. But Charlie, in the last little over 5 minutes of play, IPFW has outscored Bellarmine 17-6. Coming from 10 points down to being 1 point up here now with 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half.
I think a lot of that can be attributed, Dave, to the changing of defenses. First, they laid back and just came back and played half court. Then they came up and pressed full court. And that will confuse the team, as you saw when Bellarmine just threw the ball out of bounds. They're a little confused right now.
IPFW will inbounds the ball. Right side of the floor, deep near midcourt. Lawrence Jordan with the ball over to Sean Gibson. Down to Mike Pittman. Mike inside to Lloyd Surgeon. Lloyd with a nice spin move. Couldn't get the ball to fall, the shot to fall, but it was a nice move to the basket. There we saw a fast and furious exchange. A tipped ball 3 or 4 different times, and it ends up going out of bounds and will go to Bellarmine College, the baseline near the end of their end of the floor. 39 seconds left on the shot clock, which is plenty of time. And Sam Long rips that ball away quickly down to Lawrence Jordan, who puts in the fast break basket. And very alert play on both ends by Sam Long and Lawrence Jordan. We have had Demetrius Scott, number 12, enter the lineup for the Bellarmine Knights. An offensive foul called against Demetrius. It's the third team foul. Both teams with only 3 fouls, which is a little unusual for a college basketball game, Charlie, where we're 8.5 minutes from halftime.
And especially at the pace that we're playing at.
Lloyd Surgeon with the pass from Mike Pittman, and Lloyd puts a nice soft jump shot to score for the Mastodons. Number 21 also in, Gary Good for the Bellarmine Knights. And there we have a shot by Demetrius Scott hitting the short jump shot, making it 26-23 IPFW. Sean Gibson on the inside, and he puts it up and in as number 32, Brian Feeker, plays kind of position defense, but not real active. And then a quick play up down the floor was number 21, Gary Good, gets the 2 points right back for the Bellarmine Knights.
I think things have turned around for IPFW for a couple of reasons. One, the pressure defense, and now they're starting to go inside a little bit more. As you
Lloyd
can see
Surgeon
right there.
getting very active, yes.
Basket for Lloyd Surgeon.
And Lloyd right there to pick that pass off. Lawrence takes a look.
Personal foul on IPFW.
Lloyd draws the offensive foul that time. Interesting call. I think the official anticipated there was going to be more contact than actually turned out to be.
Yes, and actually Lloyd going to the basket turned his body to avoid the offensive foul. And like you said, I think the official was anticipating the foul and had actually called it before the contact actually occurred.
30-25, IPFW in the lead with 7 minutes and 16 seconds. In this last stretch of play in the last several minutes, Charlie, we've seen a lot of good play out of the two seniors, Lloyd Surgeon and Lawrence Jordan. And you have to have that this time of year.
Yes, well, that's been pretty much a constant all year. Lawrence Jordan is always going to give you that steady play at point guard. And Lloyd, outside of a period where he went through some bad free throw shooting, Lloyd has been pretty steady all year also.
Scott Burkhardt is in the IPF lineup at the moment, giving Lloyd Surgeon to rest. Doug Ranke also back into the lineup. Maybe they'll be able to shut off that inside play that's been bugging them just a little bit here by Bellarmine. And again, another steal by IPFW. Lawrence Jordan over to Leonard Fox, and Leonard puts it up and in. Leonard just came into the lineup for the Mastodons. Grady, short jump shot, around and no good, but it was rebounded by Eric Wilson.
Number 15, Eric Wilson.
And Eric put it in for two. 32-27, IPFW in the lead at 6.5 minutes here in the first half. Inside pass, Doug Ranke. Doug looking for a possible move. Dishes off to Leonard Fox. Leonard out to Lawrence. Lawrence drives in, flips it up, and that baby goes in. Lawrence gets fouled, hits the 2 points. Lawrence has 11 points already here in the first half.
Right now he's playing some very inspired basketball, and that's what you expect out of Lawrence Jordan. He's going to carry, if he doesn't carry you physically with his scoring and assists, he's going to carry you spiritually.
He can get you pumped up. Lawrence steps the line for a free throw and a possible three-point play, as you see a replay here of the shot coming up for Lawrence. There he flips it up and in, and he also hits the free throw that you don't see while the replay is going here. New player in the lineup for Bellarmine is number 23. And there we see the inside shot. Brian Fichter. And he's in the double figures with 10 points at the 6-minute mark of the first half.
And I don't know what the stats are on Fichter, but I don't believe he's missed a shot.
I'm not sure he has either.
Number 54, Scott Burkhardt.
And Scott Burkhardt returns the favor with the inside score. And there we see Bellarmine working just a little bit too hard to push that ball down the floor for the fast break and flip it out of bounds. IPFW with an 8-point lead at 37-28 and an opportunity here to stretch it to their first double-figure lead of the evening. Sean Gibson inbounds to Lawrence Jordan, and Lawrence brings the ball down the full court. Leonard Fox to the top of the key. Glenn Howard's back into the lineup, as is Sean Gibson. Doug Ranke cuts the baseline. Back to Glenn Howard in the far corner, right side. Back inside, outside game by Doug Ranke. And by Glenn Howard, but Doug is called for the offensive foul inside. Big, strong move to the hoop, but took a player out on his way.
Well, I think what Doug does on that post move down there, he's not drop stepping. He's taking the big turn on his step around. If he just takes a drop step, he'd be in better position to get the foul himself and the bucket.
Get the defense on his hip, and he'll be able to go up with it.
To IPFW.
Because right now he's going all the way around the defense when he just needs to take that drop step.
Pressure defense by the Mastodons causes another turnover by the Bellarmine Knights. Again, IPFW with the opportunity to stretch their lead to double figures. Patiently moving the ball around the perimeter. And all the while looking for, here's the NBA three-pointer by Lawrence Jordan again. And he drops it. And a very quick, aggressive move to the hoop by Demetrius Stott. I'm not sure Coach Joe Reibel was real pleased with the move, but he did draw the foul, and he'll go to the free throw line with an opportunity to shoot two.
Going back to the other end of the floor, Dave, I'm just amazed at the improvement that Lawrence Jordan has made on the offensive end from his freshman year to his being a fifth-year senior now. When he was a younger player, people would just play off of him, let him have that outside shot. Now if you lay off of him, he'll stick it on you.
And when he was a younger player, too, sometimes even though they laid off of him, he might not even take the shot.
Yes, he didn't have the confidence to take that shot.
Yeah, he's a veteran now. One more free throw coming to Demetrius Stott after he hits the first one, and the second one is up, and it's no good. Look, rebounded by Lloyd Surgeon. Mastodons with a 10-point lead at 40-30, and with the ball. Skip pass across, and he gets the long jump shot. Good hustle by Sean Gibson, but he had stepped on the line out of bounds as he hustled to save that ball underneath their own basket. Bellarmine will inbound the ball underneath the IPFW basket. Demetrius Stott, and his pocket is picked by Lawrence Jordan, who goes in and lays it up for 2 more points for IPFW. These Bellarmine guards just can't take a chance on dribbling that ball too long, Charlie, because somebody's going to pick their pockets. But here we see the easy shot going up underneath, and Sean Gibson coming across and fouling, ensuring there was no layup, but there'll be 2 free throws shot.
Number 41, Sean Gibson, his second personal foul. Teams over the limit, going the line.
4 minutes and 10 seconds left here in the first half, as the IPFW Mastodons have stretched out a 12-point lead. However, Bellarmine an opportunity here to cut it back to 10. First free throw by Ernest Marshall is good. Ernest will have a second opportunity.
One thing that I noticed that happens to IPFW at their home game, sometimes they get a big lead and then they get a little lax.
Yeah.
That happened against Kentucky State and also against St. Joe. So I hope, they get a big lead. I hope they can sustain that the pressure.
And there we see a little bit of a pressing defense that caused a turnover by the Mastodons. Yeah, it's as though when they get a 10 or 12-point lead, somebody should show them a clock that shows that they don't have but a 2-point lead.
That's right.
And there we see an easy basket by number 32, Brian Fichter. He always gets open.
He sure is padding that 68% field goal percentage tonight.
Not going to hurt it a bit. Glenn Howard in the far right corner with the 3-point jump shot. No good. Rebounded by John Ellington, former Northrop High School player here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And there we see a nice move by number 22, Brandy Monks. And all of a sudden, that 12-point lead's down to 6. 42-36, IPFW in the lead. But Bellarmine cutting that lead down methodically. Ball inside to Sean Gibson, back out to Glenn Howard. Glenn tries another 3-pointer, and this time he's good.
When Glenn gets his feet set, he has beautiful form in that jumper. So just because he misses one or two, I hope he doesn't stop taking it.
Well, that was a good case in point at that time, Charlie, in terms of getting his feet set, because he passed inside, got the return pass back outside, and he was ready.
Yes.
Eric Wilson with the 3-pointer, and he was also ready.
Eric doesn't have the form that Glenn Howard has, but boy, can he stick it.
So with 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go in here in the first half, IPFW with a 6-point lead and inbounding the ball for Lawrence Jordan to bring up and set up the offensive attack. Mike Pittman with the ball at the top of the key. Lawrence Jordan looked at the basket. He decided not. Mike looks for the 3-pointer, and he connects. He had plenty of distance on that one.
Yes, he did. One thing, you see some guys look down at the line. These guys are nowhere near the line.
That's right. They don't have to look for it. Nice pass inside. And Scott Burkhart didn't get the ball up high enough on the glass. John Ellington rebounds and brings the ball down court for Bellarmine. When Brian Fiechter's out at the top of the free throw circle, I don't believe I'd bother guarding him. He won't be shooting from out there. Lawrence Jordan again with good hustle. He and Lloyd Surgeon, and he dishes out to Lloyd, so he makes sure he gets the two.
That was a great pass.
Yes, it was. Lawrence would have had a tough shot, but he could have taken it. On the other hand, he dished off for an easy shot, and Lawrence put it in, or Lloyd Surgeon put it in. Well, we have an unpopular call here by the fans in the stand. They thought Sam had made a good, clean steal.
They may have had a little justification for the right.
Could very well have.
Going to the line for the 1-1 for Bellarmine, number 32, Brian Fichter.
Brian Fiechter's going to be here shooting a free throw now, and that's a long-range shot for him. He hasn't shot beyond 4 feet yet.
Well, it's not too long, Dave. He's shooting 82%, so it's not that long.
And that's going to be a miss because his teammate moved his position on the line, which is a violation, which nullifies the free throw. And being the front end of the 1-and-1, they're out of luck.
Does that count as a miss?
Yes, it does, and a violation.
One of Bellarmine's players crossed into the semicircle.
And then IPFW throws the ball away on the inbounds.
Free throw. Automatic turnover.
So they miss an opportunity here to cash in on a turnover by IPFW, or by Bellarmine. Good hustle that time by both Lloyd Surgeon and Scott Burkhart to cause Bellarmine to misfire.
Dave, surprisingly, Brandy Monks he's been pretty quiet this game.
Yes, he has.
And as I stated earlier, he's second on the team in scoring, leads in assists, and also rebounding.
Well, he's on the far side, right side of the court right now, attempting to inbound the ball and having some difficulty. Jump shot up and no good. IPFW rebounds.
That three players going for it that time.
1 minute to play, and IPFW with an 11-point lead. Scott Burkhart gets the ball right back with a strong move, and Lawrence Jordan inside to Lloyd Surgeon. Lloyd hits the basket and will get a three-point opportunity. There's those seniors again coming through down there on the right side.
Yes, Lloyd had been coming off the bench all year, but last week Sean Gibson had gotten a little sick and Lloyd was inserted into the lineup and then got a career-high 29 points. And I talked with Coach Piazza. Coach says there's nothing wrong with Sean now. He just hadn't earned his position back because Lloyd's playing so well.
And that's kind of a nice position to have because you know that Sean's still going to get his playing time. And as long as Lloyd is playing terrifically like he is here tonight, we'll get a lot of play out of both of them.
And Sean Gibson is a good ball player. Does not play like a freshman.
No, he doesn't. Free throw is good by Lloyd Surgeon, which stretches the lead up to 53-39 for IPFW with 49 seconds to go in the first half. Jordan and Surgeon, Charlie, have combined for 30 points here in the first half. Those two seniors are doing an excellent job.
That's what you call leading by example.
That time, Brian Fichter passed up, gave the ball, and Eric Wilson drives the baseline. Shot clock is off now with 30 seconds to go in the first half. Will not be a factor. IPFW just may very well kill the clock down to the last shot of the half. So they'll at least have a 12, perhaps 14 or 15-point lead, depending on what kind of shot they will be able to get off. Scott Burkhart with the inside rebound, puts it back up and can't get it to fall. 2 seconds to play. The long toss hits the board. It bounds away and no good. So first half comes to an end here, Charlie, with IPFW 53, Bellarmine College 41.
Well, I think IPFW remembered that triple overtime loss, and after a little sluggish start, they got started and they're right back in it. Right back in the saddle again.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned here during our halftime for a presentation featuring the Construction Engineering School from Purdue University, and there will be a particular tape presentation made. We have some official scoring here, Charlie, for the Mastodons at halftime, or unofficial scoring, I should say.
Yeah, right now, Lawrence Jordan had 17 points. That's 5 points, almost 5 points above his average. Mike Pittman with 6, Leonard Fox 2, Glenn Howard 3, Sam Long with 6, and Lloyd Sargent 13. As we stated before, he and Jordan combined for 30 points. And Sean Gibson has 4 also. For Bellarmine, Ellington has 4 points. Demetrius Scott with 3. Eric Wilson, former IPFW player, with 12. Gary Good with 2 points. Brady Monks with only 2 points, surprisingly. And they got 6 points out of Ernest Marshall, 12 points out of Finkter. As we stated, we don't think he missed a shot, so he's almost at his average.
We also don't think he shot further than 4 feet from the basket. Okay, once again, we invite you to stay tuned at halftime for an informative tape featuring Construction Engineering product. And before we break away for that halftime presentation, we will present for you here the opportunity for the shoot-off for a brand new automobile. The participant must hit a layup, a free throw, a three-point shot, and a half-court shot. So far, he has the layup. Needs to take a little more time here now for that free throw, or he's going to flitter away all of his time. Stop and take your shot, son. Listen to your coach.
That free throw doesn't sound so free right now.
He'd stop, take one big lead. He's going to try his three-point shot. He's hit the three-pointer. Now he's got to hit the free throw again. Hey, he's got her, and the time runs out. He got 3 out of 4.
Maybe he should have started with the half-court shot first and worked his way down.
Maybe he should have. It only took him 1 3-point shot, and he must have fired up there a dozen halftime shot or free throws. Well, now we're ready for our halftime show, so we invite you to stay tuned for that presentation on construction technology, and we will rejoin you in approximately 12 minutes for the second half of this basketball game.
This building is actually going up inside another building. It's part of the laboratory experience for students in building construction and contracting at Purdue University. This lab allows students to get hands-on experience by building scaled-down versions of real-life structures.
All right, yeah, we're on. You're on? Then bring it down. Keep going. Oh.
They set their standards. We don't. They do. They define the standards, they evaluate the conditions in the lab, they look at safety, and they set the standards as a supervisor, and it becomes a natural thing for them as they get more experience, and when they take that and go to the job site, they're able to apply what they've learned in the physical sense of actually being in charge of the construction of a building.
Freshman students serve as workers on the project, so they get early exposure to the building process. The supervisors are upperclassmen who learn to manage construction projects by becoming familiar with all phases of the operation.
They're allowed to plan, they're allowed to execute that particular plan, and from there they're put in a position to control that activity using checklists, using things that they prepared.
The supervisors learn what it takes to manage men, machines, materials, and money on a construction project.
You have to know how to voice your opinion clearly, communicate very well, because it's breakdown of communication, and you can get somebody hurt or just totally lose, your efficiency and the flow of your work and things like that.
This gives us a chance to apply all of those detailed things to a construction site and all of the things necessary that we will need to be looking at when we actually get onto a job site. It means that I will portray myself as a little more confident because I do have a little more hands-on experience versus someone who has just seen a job site through the blueprints.
When all the steel beams are in place, the students learn how to align them, both by the traditional surveying method and by using state-of-the-art laser measuring equipment. In addition to steel construction, the students learn techniques for wood and concrete buildings. This varied experience gives Purdue construction students a leg up in the job market.
We cover the whole entire umbrella of the construction industry, being field engineering, construction layout, the supervision, the project management, the scheduling, and all the other related fields. So the placement has been strong because we do emphasize being job ready.
When they graduate from Purdue, these students will be prepared to direct all types of construction projects, from high-rise office buildings to apartments to highways and bridges. For Purdue University, I'm Ray Coverley.
So I need you to help me see if we can figure this out.
This is how teaching takes place in the Purdue Problem-Centered Mathematics project being tested in elementary schools. In this class, second graders not only give the answers, but also have to explain how they got them.
31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 30 plus 5 equals 35.
Program coordinator Paul Cobb says the project requires children look to each other for help in solving problems.
One thing we think is very important with regard to children's attitudes is that they believe they are capable of figuring these things out. They work with a partner or whatever. Only as an absolute last recourse would they talk to a teacher.
Cobb says every day people work together to find solutions, and we learn through the difficulties.
We all find in life that if things go very smoothly, nothing happens, nothing untoward, we don't learn anything. It's when these children have a problem or an obstacle or a contradiction or whatever that occurs that they have an opportunity to learn.
Purdue graduate Grace Ann Merkel taught for 14 years before fully realizing how children learn when she started utilizing the problem-centered approach.
I didn't ask kids what they were thinking about in mathematics. If they got the answer right, I was happy with that. Now I realize that that isn't always, that just isn't the case. That's not the important part. The important part is how they got their answers, because that tells you a lot about their understanding of mathematics.
In Merkel's class, students learn at a pace suited to them. And she says the program's advantages spill over into other areas.
The kids talk and share with each other, and they share with me what they're thinking about. And I think that's really important because children at this age do enjoy talking, and so this encourages them in language arts as well as in mathematics.
These children are also helping Purdue School of Education prepare better teachers, says project co-investigator Terry Wood.
What we do is incorporate these ideas that we have learned from working with the teachers with our undergraduate students in our methods classes at Purdue University and with our graduate students. We use video clips that we had taken in our research of children's methods for learning. And the scenes that we would show a child using a variety of solutions to solve problems, and then after showing the tapes, we would have the teachers working in small groups themselves talk about what they had seen on the tape, talk about the ways the children were attempting to solve problems.
What do you think the mistake was as far as with the, what do you think?
We took this part away and we ended up with 4 here.
Can you figure out what happened the first time?
Wood says math educators worldwide give this Purdue project favorable reviews. And studies of students who have taken part in the program are also encouraging. These kids become better problem solvers and are more positive about math than are their peers. For Purdue University, I'm Beth Simmons.
Purdue veterinary medicine students are supplementing their hands-on experience with horses having neurological problems by studying a newly created Purdue laser video disc. The disc contains images of both sick and normal animals and shows techniques to use in performing a neurological exam on the animal. The computer allows them to quickly view a variety of cases, more than the students would normally see in person, and repeat the cases as often as needed. This interactive video disc is the first step in veterinary education of the future, a future that will replace the use of many animals with advanced computer and video technology. This long-term project is headed by veterinary professor Gordon Kopic.
The major goals of the project are to increase the efficiency of learning in our students and to decrease the need for using animals in education. We need to treat them with more respect and to use them only when absolutely necessary. We shouldn't be using them for experiments that are redundant.
Kopic, who heads the Department of Veterinary Physiology and Pharmacology, adds that such technology will someday allow students to manipulate 3D animal images, to perform electronic dissections over and over, or to simulate the injection of a drug and see how it affects the animal. But even when the technology reaches its maximum potential, Kopic says live animals could not be eliminated entirely because simulation has its limits.
Because students have to touch the real tissues. They have to have a feel. It has an environment. It has an emotional thing that's very difficult to duplicate with artificial animals.
While Purdue isn't the only school exploring high-tech teaching of vet medicine, it is one of the leaders, as exemplified by $150,000 in grants from the Geraldine Rockefeller Dodge Foundation. This funding led to the creation of the horse video disc. A similar disc is now being developed for the dog to teach students how to examine, diagnose, and prescribe treatment for neurological problems.
I think there are some advantages in using video and simulation over real animal. One of the first things that comes to mind is that it's always available. You can get a lot of different views, repeatability, all of those things would be there with the artificial reality.
Another goal, Kopic says, is to increase the realism by using three-dimensional images, first through sophisticated graphics, and later by incorporating stereo-optic and holographic techniques.
To create any of those images, one has to have a good idea of the model of the animal, the shape of the various organs of the animal.
So while computer simulation will reduce the need for animals in vet school teaching, Kopic says it will also improve veterinary education. For Purdue University, I'm Ray Cubberley.
And the IPFW Mastodons. Charlie, any thoughts on some of the first half statistics as we see them?
Yeah, well, we got the official statistics in, and right now IPFW's up by 12, but Bellarmine shooting at a blistering clip, 73% on 16 of 22 shooting. And IPFW not slouching either at 22 for 40 at 55%.
And with 6 of those 22 being three-pointers, it doesn't hurt a thing.
Yeah, 6 out of 11 from three-point range. And Bellarmine just 2 for 5 at 40%. Free throws aren't really a factor. Bellarmine 80%, 4 for 5, and IPFW 100%, 3 for 3.
Charlie, we might note that in the first game here tonight, the women's basketball game, the Lady Mastodons set a new school record in hitting 27 out of 28 free throws. And as a part of that, Robin Scott was 13 for 13, which ties the school record. So excellent free throw shooting we saw in the first game.
Well, the last 3 or 4 years, the Lady Dons have always been right up there in the top 3, 4, and 1 year they led the nation in free throw shooting at the Division II level.
And they're right up there again. But we see the second half ready to get underway as IPFW will inbound the ball at midcourt on the alternate possession. Sam Long into Glenn Howard. Glenn down the left side baseline. Back out to Doug Ranke. Almost lost the ball. We got the handle back. Sam Long. Looks like maybe Bellarmine's picked up his defensive intensity a notch. But with a kick of the ball on the defense, we'll have a reset of the shot clock. Back to a new 45 for IPFW to inbound the ball underneath their own basket.
Well, Dave, when you're down 12 points at half, that's just about the only way you can get back into the ball game with good aggressive defense. And Bellarmine, like all other teams, know that that's what they have to do to get right back in it.
IPFW on the attack. Lawrence Jordan at the top. Off to the right side to Sam Long. Inside to Lloyd Surgeon. Lloyd a little soft on the shot that time, but tipped out of bounds by number 32, Brian Fichter.
What IPFW needs to do now is get a good bucket to take the air out of that strong defensive intensity. Because right now, if Bellarmine gets a steal, they may get on a roll. But if IPFW scores a quick, easy basket, well, I guess that kills that theory.
Yes. Brian Fichter was quickly out of the ball game, Charlie, and was looking at a hand, and he has someone looking at one of the fingers. I don't know whether he got a dislocation or a jam finger. And if he's not in the lineup for Bellarmine, it makes a noticeable difference.
That's right. And the way he's shooting, all IPFW fans have to be glad to see him on the sideline.
He's been replaced by number 33, Quinn Drake. And after that IPFW turnover, Bellarmine has inbounded the ball and is down now on the offensive set. And there they miss an inside shot. I think it was a partial block by either Sam Long or Lloyd Surgeon. Ball will be inbounded by Bellarmine's Brandy Monks. And as they have done several times tonight, it's a little soft pass into the front part of the key. Doug Ranke tips the ball over to Glenn Howard, who controls, and IPFW is on the attack down the floor quickly. Back to Lawrence Jordan. Glenn Howard, deep right-hand side. Three-point shot, no good. Doug Ranke rebounds and kicks it back outside for a new offensive set.
It's very important right now for IPFW to score and get on track, because the first few minutes.
And Lawrence Jordan with another of his NBA three-point shots.
That's exactly what they needed. The first few minutes of the second half is always a very important factor. It just tells the story of the second half.
Bellarmine counters with a three-point shot from Quinn Drake. And Quinn's quite the opposite of the person he replaced. And there we see a nice pass by Lawrence underneath to Doug Ranke, and Doug puts up the easy two underneath the basket. Bellarmine trying to break the pressure defense applied by IPFW. Now back to set up. John Ellington up at the top, trying to get, and there we see a pass tipped away. And a foul called against Doug Ranke on that defensive set.
I think IPFW got a good call right there. Bellarmine had a player right under the basket, so if that pass gets through, he had an easy bucket.
He'd have had an easy one. Lloyd Surgeon steps in, cuts off the pass. Lloyd gets the follow-up basket, but he misses. Couldn't quite get up high enough to jam, and was too far away to use the glass to lay it in. So a missed opportunity for the Mastodons, who lead 58-44 at the 17:35 mark of the second half.
That time Lloyd wanted to dunk for the crowd. He should have just, I think he would have been better off just going off the glass, laying it in.
And Lawrence pulls up and shoots the jumper. And hits two. He's shooting with a lot of confidence here at the tail end of the season.
And if he's hitting that shot, he's almost unstoppable. There's nothing you can do with him. If he's hitting an outside jumper, nothing you can do with him.
With a little over 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the second half, I believe Bellarmine calls the timeout, don't they, Charlie?
Yes.
And IPFW has stretched that lead out just a bit to 60-44, and that's the kind of thing we need to see out of them here at the start of this second half, to not sit back and say, that 12 was easy, so now we don't need to worry, but rather to get that ball and keep stretching it out, get more if they can.
Yes, well, as I said, the first 5 minutes of the second half, it kind of sets the tone for the whole second half. If you come out hard and score, as I stated also, IPFW, they're up by 12, and Bellarmine, of course, is going to come out with good hard pressure, intensified defense. So IPFW needs to get a couple of easy scores to take the air out of that pressure, and I think that's just what happened, and Bellarmine calls his timeout.
And I think we've seen an interesting development in this game tonight, Charlie, because in the first half, the Mastodons had only 7 turnovers. And that's an awfully good figure for them at the pace they play. And if they can hold their turnovers down, they're going to be tough to beat. Well, Bellarmine will inbound the ball underneath the IPFW basket. And we'll have full court pressure extended by the Mastodons. Welcome back to the IPFW Athletic Center as we approach the tip-off, or not the tip-off anymore, but the start of the second half of the men's basketball game. Great Lakes Valley Conference competition between Bellarmine College of Louisville, Kentucky, and the IPFW Mastodons. Charlie, any thoughts on some of the first half statistics as we see them?
Yeah, well, we got the official statistics in, and right now IPFW's up by 12, but Bellarmine's shooting at a blistering clip, 73% on 16 of 22 shooting, and IPFW not slouching either at 22 for 40 at 55%.
And with 6 of those 22 being three-pointers, it doesn't hurt a thing.
Yeah, 6 out of 11 from three-point range. And Bellarmine just 2 for 5 at 40%. Free throws aren't really a factor. Bellarmine 80%, 4 for 5, and IPFW 100%, 3 for 3.
Charlie, we might note that in the first game here tonight, the women's basketball game, the Lady Mastodons set a new school record in hitting 27 out of 28 free throws. And as a part of that, Robin Scott was 13 for 13, which ties a school record. So excellent free throw shooting we saw in the first game.
Well, the last 3 or 4 years, the Lady Dons have always been right up there in the top 3, 4, and 1 year they led the nation in free throw shooting at the Division II level.
And they're right up there again. But we see the second half ready to get underway as IPFW will inbound the ball at midcourt on the alternate possession. Sam Long into Glenn Howard. Glenn down the left side baseline. Back out to Doug Ranke. Almost lost the ball. We got the handle back. Sam Long. Looks like maybe Bellarmine's picked up his defensive intensity a notch. But with a kick of the ball on the defense, we'll have a reset of the shot clock. Back to a new 45 for IPFW to inbound the ball underneath their own basket.
Well, Dave, when you're down 12 points at half, that's just about the only way you can get back into the ball game with good aggressive defense. And Bellarmine, like all other teams, know that that's what they have to do to get right back in it.
IPFW on the attack. Lawrence Jordan at the top. Off to the right side to Sam Long. Inside to Lloyd Surgeon. Lloyd a little soft on the shot that time, but tipped out of bounds by number 32, Brian Fichter.
What IPFW needs to do now is get a good bucket to take the air out of that strong defensive intensity. Because right now, if Bellarmine gets a steal, they may get on a roll. But if IPFW scores a quick, easy basket, well, I guess that kills that theory.
Yes. Brian Fichter was quickly out of the ball game, Charlie, and was looking at a hand, and he has someone looking at one of the fingers. I don't know whether he got a dislocation or a jam finger. And if he's not in the lineup for Bellarmine, it makes a noticeable difference.
That's right. And the way he's shooting, all IPFW fans have to be glad to see him on the sideline.
He's been replaced by number 33, Quinn Drake. And after that IPFW turnover, Bellarmine has inbounded the ball and is down now on the offensive set. And there they miss an inside shot. I think it was a partial block by either Sam Long or Lloyd Surgeon. Ball will be inbounded by Bellarmine's Brandy Monks. And as they have done several times tonight, a little soft pass into the front part of the key. Doug Ranke tips the ball over to Glenn Howard, who controls, and IPFW is on the attack down the floor quickly. Back to Lawrence Jordan. Glenn Howard, deep right-hand side. Three-point shot, no good. Doug Ranke rebounds and kicks it back outside for a new offensive set.
It's very important right now for IPFW to score and get on track, because the first few minutes.
And Lawrence Jordan with another of his NBA three-point shots.
That's exactly what they needed. The first few minutes of the second half is always a very important factor. It just tells the whole story of the second half.
Bellarmine counters with a three-point shot from Quinn Drake. And Quinn's quite the opposite of the person he replaced. And there we see a nice pass by Lawrence underneath to Doug Ranke, and Doug puts up the easy two underneath the basket. Bellarmine trying to break the pressure defense applied by IPFW. Now back to set up. John Ellington up at the top, trying to get, and there we see a pass tipped away. And a foul called against Doug Ranke on that defensive set.
I think IPFW got a good call right there. Bellarmine had a player right under the basket, so if that pass gets through, he got an easy bucket.
He'd have had an easy one. Lloyd Surgeon steps in, cuts off the pass. Lloyd gets the follow-up basket, but he misses. Couldn't quite get up high enough to jam, and was too far away to use the glass to lay it in. So a missed opportunity for the Mastodons, who lead 58-44 at the 17:35 mark of the second half.
That time Lloyd wanted to dunk for the crowd. He should have just, think he would have been better off just going off the glass, laying it in.
And Lawrence pulls up and shoots the jumper. And hits two. He's shooting with a lot of confidence here at the tail end of the season.
And if he's hitting that shot, he's almost unstoppable. There's nothing you can do with him. If he's hitting an outside jumper, nothing you can do with him.
With a little over 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the second half, I believe Bellarmine calls the timeout, don't they, Charlie?
Yes.
And IPFW has stretched that lead out just a bit to 60-44, and that's the kind of thing we need to see out of them here at the start of this second half, to not sit back and say, that 12 was easy, so now we don't need to worry, but rather to get that ball and keep stretching it out, getting more if they can.
Yes, well, as I said, the first 5 minutes of the second half, it kind of sets the tone for the whole second half. If you come out hard and score, as I stated also, IPFW, they're up by 12, and Bellarmine, of course, is going to come out with good hard pressure, intensified defense. So IPFW needs to get a couple of easy scores to take the air out of that pressure, and I think that's just what happened, and Bellarmine calls his timeout.
And I think we've seen an interesting development in this game tonight, Charlie, because in the first half, the Mastodons had only 7 turnovers. And that's an awfully good figure for them at the pace they play. And if they can hold their turnovers down, they're going to be tough to beat. Well, Bellarmine will inbound the ball underneath the IPFW basket. And we'll have full court pressure extended by the Mastodons.
Right now, while IPFW has Bellarmine down, they can't let him out. They have him in the grave. They have to put the dirt on and cover him up.
That's right. And I was just going to say, don't give them the easy one, but there it goes. They've found that backdoor seam. As Sam Long gets the ball across, now Lawrence Jordan has it. Dishes off to Glenn Howard on the side. Glenn didn't get set, but and Bellarmine saves the ball, comes down quickly now. Brady Monks on the drive to the inside, and that time the ball was cut off and kicked, they say, by the defense, so that the shot clock will be reset. Bellarmine will inbounds underneath their own basket. And by the way, Brian Fichter has come back into the lineup for the Knights. Three-point shot on its way, rebounded by John Ellington. John puts it up, no good. Brian Fichter missed a two-footer for his first miss of the night, I think. Reverse layup by Lloyd Surgeon, not quite high enough to go in. Bellarmine back quickly. Fire a three-pointer by Brady Monks, and he connects. And Bellarmine's trying to up-tempo this game a little bit in their effort to get back into this.
But right now they want to make it an ugly ball game. That way they can get back in it.
Yeah.
A little helter-skelter.
And here they've got a 2-on-1, 2-on-3 break, and they misfire and throw it away. Nice break for the Mastodons.
And that's the kind of thing that frustrates a coach. You have a 2-on-1, you're trying to make a run to get back into the game, and then you make a bad pass like that.
We have some substitutions in the lineup for the Mastodons as Kevin Shank is in, Mike Pittman is in, and John Hunstrider. Sean Gibson stays in along with Lawrence Jordan. Bellarmine exerting full court press. And they give the ball to Lawrence Jordan, and that'll break most presses most times.
That's the only play I would devise. Just give the ball to Lawrence.
Foul is called against number 21. Very good. This time Bellarmine falls back into their defensive half-court set. IPFW with their offensive move inside to John Heinstrider. And John was tied up as he attempted to go up for the shot, but Brady Monks tied him up, and on the alternate possession, the ball will go to Bellarmine.
It's a good aggressive move by John, though.
Yes, it was. And here we see a quick pass down, and jump shot, good by Gary Good. And John Heinstrider on the front end of a quick fast break down court. Got the IPFW a big, big bucket. Bellarmine's been coming at him here for a few minutes.
That's exactly what you need when a team makes a run. You score a big bucket like this, and it just takes the wind out of their sails.
John with an opportunity here for a three-point play as he was fouled on the shot. Free throw is up and good. Back to a 12-point lead as it was at halftime after 4.5 minutes play here in the second half. John Ellington pressured, some difficulty moving the ball. The IPFW half-court trap now, but a three-point shot by Brady Monks. Lawrence Jordan with the ball, breaks the pressure, down to Kevin Shank. Quickly over to Mike Pittman. Mike with a three-point shot, and it's good. So, three-point shot by Bellarmine is countered by Mike Pittman's three-pointer.
That was a great ball fake by Mike that time.
Kevin Shank stayed right with that ball that time. Nice pass down by Lawrence Jordan. And the pass collected in and score on the front end of the fast break by John Heinstrider. Pretty fast pace right now, Charlie.
Yes, it is.
Foul called against IPFW here on the near sideline. Kevin Shank is called for the foul. And we've played 5.5 minutes here in the second half. And IPFW has been able to stretch the lead that it had at halftime from 12 to 14. However, not much to say about that at the moment because it's Bellarmine's ball and plenty of time to be played yet.
But right now, Dave, you have to be impressed with the ability of IPFW just to run 12 players in and out with the exception of Lawrence Jordan and not lose one thing.
Yeah. Three-pointer on its way by Eric Wilson. Tip up and in, and I think probably they'll give that to number 33, Quinn Drake. And back down quickly. Back down quickly was Kevin Shank with the pass. His shot was blocked by Eric Wilson. And they're calling an on-the-floor foul, so it will not be a shooting foul. The IPFW ball out of bounds underneath their own basket with a fresh shot clock at 45. And an inbounds pass quickly to Sean Gibson, and Sean hits the two-pointer before Bellarmine has a chance to set their defense, but they've done that to us much of the first half.
Someone definitely missed a defensive assignment.
Just excellent hustle by IPFW, particularly Lawrence Jordan down on the defensive corner. Caused Bellarmine to misfire with the ball, and IPFW has the ball. And a 70-56 lead.
Lawrence just never seems to tire. He plays the whole game at just a frenzied pace, and he just never tires.
Lloyd Surgeon with the pass inside and puts it up and in. He had a smaller man posted up inside, and he really liked that.
Yeah. Good recognition to get him the ball when he has that smaller player on him.
Gary Good kept going toward the basket. He couldn't get the field goal to fall, but he drew the foul.
Personal foul on IPFW number 40, Lloyd Surgeon. His second, the team's third.
2 or 3 of the starters for Bellarmine have been out for a rest. It'll be interesting to see how fatigue may become a factor here in this ball game, Charlie, before it's over.
Where there's so many changes and they're so quick, it's kind of hard to even keep up with that. Both teams running players in and out, in and out, in and out. It's very hard to keep up with. So I don't know how much of a factor that fatigue will play.
Gary Good misses the first free throw. Second one is on its way, and it is good. Cuts the 16-point lead down to 15 at 72-57. That 16-point lead, I think, may have been the largest lead of the game.
Yes, but what IPFW has to be wary of, there's still plenty of time.
That's right.
And in the past, they've let leads whittle down.
13 and a half minutes yet to be played, and that's an eternity. But with Lloyd Surgeon on the move like that, if he keeps playing aggressively, they'll be all right. And defensively, they're keeping the pressure on. They have about a three-quarter press here, and the ball, luckily just flipped away. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And wide open underneath, and I wondered if the defense would spot him, and they did. Too late. He missed the shot, but drew the foul. Sam Long with his third foul.
The last couple of times down the court, Dave, Bellarmine's been playing Finker way out past the three-point ring, and if they're going to keep him out there, that's where IPFW wants him, because he's not going to shoot it from out there, and he's not effective at all from that range.
First free throw is missed by Bellarmine. Ernest Marshall has shot number 2 coming. And the second one bounces around and through. Glenn Howard with the ball on the left side perimeter for IPFW, and Glenn got a little careless with the ball, and he hustles back defensively. And that's one of those where officials were not in a position through no fault of their own to maybe be able to see that clearly. Maybe they ought to see our monitor, and we'd have helped them make the call.
We might be a little biased, though.
Yeah, a little bit. Nice recognition by Scott Burkhart. Lawrence Jordan's going to go to the hoop. And he put it up. He challenged number 15, Eric Wilson, and took it right at him.
He took it right at his old buddy that time.
Yes, he did. Eric drew his third foul, and we have another timeout by the Bellarmine Knights, as we are not quite halfway through the second half, and Bellarmine's using up a lot of their timeouts.
Yes, they are.
The replay saw the move that Lawrence made to the basket. In fact, Bellarmine, I think, has only one timeout left, and they may wish they'd had 1 or 2 of these back early down when it gets down to crunch time.
That is right, with 12:32 to play, with only one timeout remaining. You may just be asking for trouble with that.
We at IPFW are pleased to bring you cablecast of athletic competition. We hope you enjoy the game and the excitement of intercollegiate sports at IPFW. To provide such programs, we need your support with the help of student workers and volunteers we are able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help to defray the production costs not covered by the university budget. College Cable Access at IPFW invites you to invest in quality college programming by sending your contribution to the College Cable Access Center, IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, zip code 46805-1499. Please make your check out to the Indiana Purdue Foundation at Fort Wayne and designate it for college athletics. Bellarmine will inbound the ball here at the underneath the IPFW will be shooting free throws as Lawrence Jordan steps to the line to shoot two. I think this may be Lawrence's first trip to the line tonight. He misses number one.
Oh, I think he had a three-pointer.
He did have, that's right, earlier tonight.
Took a layup in and got fouled.
Yeah. Second free throw is up and good. Pressure defense by IPFW. John Ellington for the Bellarmine Knights. Across to Eric. Oh, and Eric got caught with a little double dribble there. It's like getting caught with your hand in a cookie jar.
There you go. Eric wants to pass it, and then he saw someone playing the passing lanes, and then he tried to put it back down.
He wanted to change his mind and couldn't. And Glenn Howard from the far right side launches a three-pointer that's no good. Little discussion there by a player and the official. I guess the player saved the official from getting crunched against the wall.
Yeah, he almost caused it, and then he saved him at the same time.
73-58 at the 12-minute mark of the second half. And John Ellington puts up a three-point field goal attempt. And again, Brian Fichter misses a short inside jump shot. He doesn't do that very often. Scott Burkhart inside. Scott's had a lot of tough luck inside there, and he got a nice move that time and got the shot to fall for him.
Yes.
IPFW putting lots of defensive pressure on right now. Lawrence Jordan stops, pulls up, and puts up the short jumper. And after the ball is bounced around a little bit, Lawrence came out with it. Lloyd misses the short jumper, and Ellington rebounds for Bellarmine.
That may have been a little ill-advised shot by Lloyd that time. He had two players on him.
A little too quick, especially after they'd already gotten the ball back from the first rebound. Need to watch underneath defensively. Nice hustle by Sam Long that time to get the ball far enough out front that Lawrence could catch up with it and hit the layup. And we have a 77-58 score. Just a little under 11 minutes to be played. Glenn Howard that time got a little over anxious to try to steal the ball. Reach in foul. Fouled Brandy Monks. There is no 1-and-1 yet, as that's the fifth team foul against IPFW, and we see fresh people coming into the IPFW lineup. Sean Gibson, Mike Pittman, Leonard Fox.
Right now, I'm not sure how right it is, Dave, but I think we have Lawrence Jordan for 25 points. I'm not sure if that's a career high for him.
It may be. Bellarmine College at the moment having trouble getting anything but a long outside jump shot. A lot of good hustle that time by IPFW, including Lawrence Jordan and Scott Burkhart. And there we saw the stop. Now we'll see what happens going the other way. And there's a foul called against Scott Burkhart as he attempted to block the shot of Demetrius Stott, number 12 for Bellarmine. As he's going in, Demetrius will go to the free throw line to shoot two. Looks like, Charlie, maybe this is a pace of game that Bellarmine is not real happy about playing.
Yeah,
it's moving pretty fast, going up and down the court.
I think they're more effective when they're setting up their half-court game, spreading things out, getting the ball to Finker.
Looks like it would be. As Demetrius gets the first free throw to drop, and he'll shoot number 2.
And another thing, Dave, a key to that Finkter inside play is Eric Wilson hitting that long shot to open things up for Finkter on the inside.
Demetrius Stott got both free throws. IPFW down quickly. And Scott Burkhardt again gets the inside shot to fall as IPFW just beat the defense down the floor.
Right now, IPFW is doing something that they rarely do. And, Dave, that's playing without Lawrence Jordan at the moment.
Well, it's a well-deserved rest for Lawrence. We'll see how long it lasts. Demetrius Stott again with an aggressive move to the basket, and he draws the foul on Scott Burkhardt. That'll be Scott's second foul.
But Coach Andy Piazza is no dummy. If you have to rest Jordan, you're going to rest him when you're up 19 points.
That's right. That's right. Lloyd Surgeon getting ready to come back into the lineup. It's good to see the mascot of the Mastodons here tonight.
Don the Don.
He weathered a lot of bad storms to get here this evening. Demetrius Stott hits the first free throw. Second one on its way, and it's no good. Lloyd Surgeon rebounds the ball. Mike Pittman bringing the ball up against presser defense. And it's like a ping pong game here. And Leonard Fox with a strong move to the basket and drew the foul against John Wellington.
Very strong move. Leonard showed some great hang time on that play.
Yes, he did. 79-61 the score. IPFW leading by 18 with 9 minutes and 35 seconds to go here tonight in the second game of this Great Lakes Valley Conference basketball doubleheader.
Well, Dave, it's not as much a factor now as if it would be if this was a closer game, but you just saw an example of how this IPFW Mastodon team is so much different when they're playing without Lawrence Jordan.
Yes. IPFW with an opportunity now tonight, if they can hold on and win this ball game, to move up a notch in the conference standings. And we missed both free throws in that opportunity.
As Lynn knocked a little paint off the rim with those two shots.
It's got a shiny spot. And the 10 seconds runs out on the Bellarmine Knights as the defensive pressure had its effect. Mike Pittman with the ball out the top. An ill-advised pass. And the ball will belong to Bellarmine near the corner baseline.
Mike's struggling a little bit, but you can't really fault Mike for struggling. There's not many times where he has the opportunity to run the point guard position.
That's right.
He's used to spotting up and letting Lawrence Jordan drive a little bit and spotting up for that three-point shot and knocking it down.
Well, Lloyd's had his rest. Lawrence has had his rest and is back in the lineup now. And for one of the few times tonight, or the second half anyway, Brian Finkter has scored now. I think he had quite a dry spell prior to that shot.
Yeah, the dry spell for Finkter was he missed his last two shots. For him, that's a shooting slump.
We're getting a little careless, and Bellarmine puts in another two. They need to get that ball down, get the offensive set. It's 3 possessions in a row, and it's time for Andy Piazza calls a timeout because that quickly 6 points are on the board for the Bellarmine Knights, and things tighten up considerably.
Well, that's a great timeout by Coach Piazza. Bellarmine went into a full court press and gotten a couple of steals, and as I stated before, they want to make this game ugly, get into a helter-skelter style of play, and force IPFW into playing that style when they don't have to. They're up by 12, 14 points. They should be taking their time using that clock.
So the lead has been whittled back to the lead that existed at halftime. 12-point lead for the IPFW Mastodons. A 12-point lead that had stretched out to as much as 18, as I remember, Charlie, and
19.
maybe 20, 19?
19, I do believe.
So 7 points has been cut off of that. This 6 here in just a real quick flurry just recently. So the IPFW Mastodons have got to regroup now, because in just these last few seconds, Bellarmine's intercepted that ball three times, gotten 3 quick buckets, and that kind of thing could be dangerous if it continued.
Yeah, well, what they need to do now is set some picks, get the ball into Lawrence Jordan's hand, and let him set up a play. And sometimes setting up a play for him is just driving down and hitting a spotted up 3-point shooter.
There we get the ball across the half-court line. Good decision by Lloyd Surgeon to kick the ball back out rather than to try to plow it in and perhaps risk an offensive foul or a turnover.
Yes, that would have been a very difficult shot for Lloyd to make. It was very, very intelligent for him to bring it back out.
And there, Mike Pittman makes a very intelligent move. He kind of sneaked around the outside, saw that he had a lane. He just kept going. Nobody picked him up, and he put in a basket and an opportunity for a 3-point play.
You know, Mike definitely caught Bellarmine by surprise. You wouldn't expect a player of his stature to go inside and make a move like that on the inside.
Going to the line, chance for the 3-point play, number 10, Mike Pittman.
Big bucket for the Mastodons.
Very big, and his free throw should be a backbreaker if he knocks it down.
3-point play by Mike. Demetrius Stott quickly down the floor for Bellarmine. Had a little trouble with the handle on the ball. Back out to John Wellington. And that time with Lloyd Surgeon in the defensive position, we had an offensive move by Brandy Monks that is very much like the kind of move that Lloyd makes.
Yeah.
His third personal foul. The team's over limit, going to the line for 2 shots, number 22.
That time Lloyd got a little bit of his own medicine that time.
Brandy Monks with 2 free throws. First one is good. He'll have one more with an opportunity to cut the lead to 13 with just under 8 minutes of play left in this basketball game. Second free throw is also good. Inbound to Mike Pittman. Sam Long brings it across the line, gets to the deep corner on the right side of the floor. And we have an offense, a move there that Sean Gibson took it strong to the board, got it kind of tipped, but he kept control with it enough to get it up on the board. And perhaps we can get a replay here to see how he kept control of that ball and kept it going up strong to the basket. There's Sean, and he gets it, and he gets the roll.
Showed great strength on that play by being able to get it up. Player had some ball and some wrist, but he still got it up on the glass.
And he converts the 3-point play also. And that time they got the ball underneath the basket very quickly to Brian Fichter.
I understand it's not IPFW style of play, Dave, but I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Piazza should slow things down just a tad bit, use some of that clock.
Work it a good bit.
Even though I know that's not their style, so I wouldn't, and Lawrence Jordan doesn't know how to play like that, I don't believe. He knows one speed, and that's full steam ahead.
Well, Brian Fichter converts on the front end of the 1-on-1, and we'll have shot number 2 coming. And that free throw is also good. Inbounds quickly to Sam Long. Sam has the ball. Off to Sean Gibson. Sean with a bullet pass down to Mike Pittman. Oh, and hang time by Lawrence. He picks the ball up, goes down, goes back up, and scores.
Lawrence is approaching 30 points, and I'm almost positive that's a career high.
It's got to be. Demetrius Stott with a nice move to the basket. Scores 2. There we have a little careless pass, and Bellarmine's converting those turnovers. If we make one little mistake, they're getting 2 out of it.
That's why I would suggest that they slow it down just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm sitting up here watching the game, and Coach Piazza's down there coaching and doing a great job of it.
Well, IPFW will inbounds the ball at midcourt. Lawrence Jordan says, back up, guys. Let's get it set. Let's go. And I think maybe what you've been looking for, Charlie, we're going to see some of here. Work the clock a little bit. It's getting down to inside 7 minutes. Lloyd Surgeon with a nice move, spin around the inside, found his opening, and went right to the hoop.
I think the philosophy that IPFW is going with now is if it ain't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
So excellent hustle over there by Mike Pittman near the Bellarmine bench. Lawrence Jordan was over there, and he and Eric Wilson had a chance to say hello to each other. Demetrius Stott, it's a three-point attempt, is no good. Very good attempts. There was no rebound position established by IPFW, so Ellington had an easy opportunity for a rebound and 2 points. 89-77 at the 6-minute mark. Still a lot of time left. Lloyd Surgeon using that move inside, and he gets the bounce, and it goes in. And when he gets the ball posting up against Brian Fichter, Brian's not the greatest defender in the world.
No, he doesn't. He relies on that big girth. He doesn't move the feet very well. He just stands there.
And there we saw maybe a little fatigue move on Brian Fichter's part. He looks like he's really grasping for some oxygen right now.
I remember a few years back when Brian was coming out of high school, he actually came to IPFW and made a visit.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
Where did he go to high school?
Princeton. He had a brother also that played at Kentucky Wesleyan.
Oh,
a few years back.
Okay.
Out of Princeton, Indiana.
Ernest Marshall is back into the lineup for IPFW, as is for Bellarmine. And Larry, I'll get it right in a minute. Leonard Fox. And Leonard's hustle on a tie-up gives the ball to IPFW on an alternate possession. Five minutes and 21 seconds left here in the second half as IPFW maintaining a 14-point lead, 91-77.
Dave, that was good sportsmanship on Leonard Fox's and Fichter's behalf. After they scuffled on the floor a little bit, they got up and shook hands and patted each other on the behind.
Doug Reinke into the ball game, placing Sean Gibson. Glenn Howard gets the ball on the inbound. John Ellington trying to influence the official's call, but he knew the right call had been made.
He turned around and told the referee afterwards, good call. But you got to try it.
Ball into Lawrence Jordan's hands, and now Lawrence can set the offense, take a look, see what's ready, what's not ready. And there we have the inside pass made to Doug Reinke, and Brian Fichter on a reach-in is called for a foul.
His first. The team is over the limit.
It's a lot of basketball for the big man to play, and that's his first foul.
Yeah.
But as we said earlier, he doesn't play a real active defense. He's kind of a good position defense.
Yes.
And then makes the offense go after him.
But to be a good defensive player, you have to combine that good positioning with movement of the feet.
Right.
And move your hands upward instead of reaching.
Add that extra dimension to that defense.
Yeah.
Well, the free throw was missed by Doug Reinke. Ernest Marshall in a lot of trouble, gets it out to the top to John Ellington. Nice defensive play that time by Lloyd Surgeon as he blocked the shot. Lawrence Jordan stops, puts it up, no good. John Ellington. We have a travel. Glenn had it too easy.
Yeah.
Pass thrown right to him.
That's the same thing that happened earlier in the game to one of Bellarmine's players.
Yeah.
You guys get so big when you see that ball coming at you, no one around you.
Nobody within 10 yards of him.
And just start running with it.
4 minutes and 20 seconds left. John Ellington takes the short jumper. It's no good. Rebound was tipped by Doug Reinke over to Leonard Fox. Leonard makes the baseline pass to Glenn Howard, and Glenn's jumper is good. And Lawrence Jordan with an excellent hustle defensive play and went down and stopped a frustrated Demetrius Stott.
Just amazing, and how much running Lawrence Jordan does in
how he
in a
can
40-minute game.
run so long and still be so quick.
But he did have a rest for about a minute or two.
Yeah, maybe 45 seconds. Demetrius Stott had a very active second half here. Puts it off the glass and in.
Number 12, Demetrius Stott.
And that time with a pass from Glenn Howard, and Doug Ranke went strong to the basket. Doug was determined he was going to get that shot off. And he
Doug wanted to put that one down with a little exclamation point.
Yes, he did. He was fouled in his attempt to shoot, so he will have 2 free throws. As we have a timeout, and I think the last timeout by Bellarmine College, called here with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. And we have IPFW in the lead, 93-79. Bellarmine will have become a College Access Channel 6 Program Guide subscriber. To get a program guide, send us your name, address, and zip code to College Access Channel 6 at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, zip code 46805-1499. Or call us at 481-6582. Your opportunity to become a College Access Channel 6 Program Guide subscriber. Well, we're nearing the end of tonight's doubleheader here, Charlie. IPFW maintaining a lead, having a 12-point halftime lead. They've stretched it up some. It's shrunk some, but it's standing at 14 points. And an opportunity to be increased as Doug Ranke will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And 3 minutes and 45 seconds here to be played in the second half.
Well, Davey, you have to be impressed with what IPFW has done. In the past, at home, they've had big leads and let the leads become whittled down to single digit. Right now, when Bellarmine wanted to get back in the game with pressure defense, they just came roaring back and upped that lead.
And IPFW shut them off every time, yeah.
But they've been playing very well as of late. They're riding a 4-game win streak into this game in the conference and standing at a very respectable 7-6. With the win tonight, they'll be 8-6 in the GLVC.
Right. Doug Ranke hit the first of 2 free throws, missed the second. Leonard Fox with a big rebound, kicked the ball back out. IPFW with an opportunity here, and Glenn Howard hits 3 to stretch that lead.
That's just a beautiful play by Glenn Howard. Some fans probably won't realize what he actually done there. What he actually did is put himself into a triple threat position where he's able to shoot, drive, or pass.
And there we see a counter by John Ellington with a 3-point shot. Doug Ranke with the ball across from midcourt. Leonard Fox. IPFW will inbound the ball at the side court. Glenn Howard coming over. We have an offensive set by the Mastodons that should get the ball into the hands of Lawrence Jordan quickly, and it does. And again, Doug Ranke going to the basket is fouled and should be shooting 2.
Doug's playing very well in front of the hometown crowd. Fort Wayne Concordia product.
He's pumped up tonight. Doug with the first of 2 free throws here at this opportunity. First one is no good.
I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me, Dave. I believe Doug led Concordia last year to the state semifinals, or?
Yes, they did. They won the
16, I believe it was.
They won the sectional and the regional. Doug's second free throw is good. 98-82. 3 minutes to play. And there we saw Lloyd Surgeon going up for the rebound, knocking it out of bounds as he and Ernest Marshall battled for that rebound. Sean Gibson in for Lloyd Surgeon. Mike Pittman coming in for Leonard Fox. And just under 3 minutes to play, IPFW with a 98-82 lead. John Ellington fires up a kind of desperation three-point shot. Glenn Howard rebounds. IPFW out on a 3-on-2 break. Mike Pittman from the corner with three, and he hits. Lawrence Jordan penetrated the lane. They shut him off, so he kicked it out, and the three-pointer went in.
That's something Lawrence has always been able to do.
There's an NBA three-pointer.
But like
Ranky
you said,
rebounds.
With Lawrence adding the ability to shoot the ball, as he just did there.
That time they didn't shut him off, so he says, okay, I'll take a little jumper, and puts it in. 29 points for Lawrence Jordan. Has to be close to that career high for him. John Ellington faked, waited, and then got the three-point shot that he launched and hit. Glenn Howard kind of glided in that time, laid it up, and it rolled off the front of the rim. Lawrence Jordan came down and picked the pocket of John Ellington and again hit the short jumper. And there we see, I think, probably what is typically called the garbage shot, but they all count, as Eric Wilson was in the right spot at the right time, got the two-point shot, and will shoot a free throw.
Going to line, chance for the three-point play. Number 15, Eric Wilson. Into the IPFW line, number 50, John Heinstein.
Eric Wilson to the line. Eric had 12 points the first half, and that's his first bucket of the second half. Mike Pittman bringing the ball down. Trap defense. Lawrence Jordan with the ball. 105-88. IPFW in the lead. A minute 30 to play.
Dave, I'd say they've avenged that triple overtime loss of a few weeks ago.
I think they have. Convincingly. Sean Gibson will go to the free throw line. 1 minute and 30 seconds to play.
And some of that, of course, has to be attributed to the fact that they're playing at home this time, and there's not the jet lag factor of the traveling, coming back to Fort Wayne, and then going back out on the road.
And it's a tribute to these guys, Charlie, I think, in that during the middle of the season, they had some heartbreaking losses, some disappointments, but they bounced back from that now, and as you've said, won 4 games in a row coming into this. This will be number 5. And have about 4 more games to go in the season, and are playing at the top of their game, I think. Well, Lawrence gave us a little showtime there. He's got a big smile on his face. And he's going to get a rest. He's going to get a rest. Lawrence with what has to be a career high 31 points. Maybe not, but I think it is. And everybody in the gym is proud of the little guy.
Well, that's a good gesture on Coach Andy Piazza's part to get Lawrence out of the game, get him a little stage encore call there.
As Eric Wilson attempted the jump shot, he drew the foul against Glenn Howard. And Eric will go back to the line, trailing 106-88. Scott Burkhart checking in at the scorer's table. First free throw by Eric Wilson is perfect. He will shoot number 2.
We're calling these garbage points, but I'm sure Eric will take them in.
Oh, he'll take them. Free throw is not a garbage point. You got to earn those. And he's done pretty well there. Well, I jinxed him. John Heinstreiter with the rebound. The save out to Mike Pittman, and Mike with the quick move inside. Bellarmine on a quick fast break. John Heinstreiter down just quick enough to stop the layup as number 33, Quinn Drake, was fouled in the act of shooting. He'll have 2 free throws coming. It can be a tough game at times, can't it, Charlie?
Especially this time, garbage time, as it's sometimes called. Some players, you got to be very careful not to get hurt.
It's inside a minute to play in the game, and you're down too far to be able to come back and win. You have what you think might be a layup, but on the other hand, nobody's going to give you the 2 points, so you have to earn them, and when you earn them that way, that's the hard way. John Honstrider and Quinn Drake shook hands, patted each other on the back, and said, let's go at it.
If that was in no way a flagrant foul.
No.
You just can't, you're not going to give up anything easy.
Quinn Drake is perfect on the first free throw. He'll have number 2. 90 points will win you a lot of ball games, but the 90 points by Bellarmine College tonight not going to be close to being enough. Scott Burkhart fighting 3 guys for the ball, comes out with it. Kevin Shank over to Sean Gibson, who hits John Hunstrider, and John scores 2. And we have a foul called against Mike Pittman as the local boy from Northrop High School, John Ellington, drew the foul and will go to the free throw line with 40 seconds to play, and IPFW leading 108-90.
Dave, that was a wonderful pass by Sean Gibson in traffic on the last time down for IPFW.
Inside of the 45 seconds now to play, so that the shot clock will not be used. John Ellington hits the first free throw and has attempt number 2 on its way, and it is also good. John's had a good ball game tonight.
Yes, in front of the hometown crowd. Played very well.
Again, good passing by the 3 guys, same as the last time when Kevin Shank, Sean Gibson, and John Hunstrider, only a different shooter this time.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it one more time, and the 3rd man will get the shot. Oh, nice block that time by well, it didn't quite turn out that way. Eric Wilson with the drive to the basket. 4 or 5 seconds left now. 3. Mike Pittman hits the flying hook shot at the buzzer, which the officials are calling good, and I guess that's about as good a way as you can top off a ball game for the IPFW Mastodons. They really went after it, and they got it.
Yes, as we stated before, they really avenged that triple overtime loss of a couple of weeks ago down at Bellarmine, and they just played a nearly flawless ball game after they got off that rocky start in the first half. Here's some unofficial stats. Lawrence Jordan, 31 points, 10 assists. I think he threw in a couple of rebounds just for good measures.
Here we see a replay, I think, coming up maybe of that last bucket. It's one of those unusual things you see, and it's kind of pretty. Well, maybe not. Here we go. There it is.
Our stat person had Pittman for 15 and then had to change that to 17 as that last shot incredibly went in. Leonard Fox had 2 points. Glenn Howard 8. Kevin Shank scratched for 2 points. Sam Malone had 6. Laurie Surgeon with a good ball game, scoring 8 points above his 11-point average. He had 19. Sean Gibson, steady game, had 10. Doug Rinke, 4 points. Hans Strider at 7, and Scott Burkhart 6 points for a total of 112.
I think it's interesting, Charlie, that the 11 guys played for the Mastodons and 11 guys scored.
That's right. As we said, they're very interchangeable ball team, except for Lawrence Jordan. They're a different ball club when he's not in there. But other than that, you can put any of the other 11 guys in and really not lose anything.
There aren't too many Lawrence Jordans around.
There's not. Coach Piazza's really going to miss him next year. For Bellarmine, unofficially, we have John Ellington out of Fort Wayne Northrop with 18 points. Demetrius Scott, 10 points. Eric Wilson had 18, about 6 or 8 of those coming at what we call garbage time. Gary Good, 5 points. Brady Monks wasn't as big a factor as I thought he would be in the ballgame. He had 12 points. And Brian Finkter had 16 points. Quinn Drake had 6. Finkter coming into the ball game shooting at almost a 68-point clip, still shot very well. He did miss 2 shots, I believe, maybe 3 at most. He shot very well.
Well, and after a 12-point first half, he got only 4 points in the second half. And that has to be a factor for Bellarmine because it looks like they rely on him so much that he's got to score for them to have a serious threat at a ball game.
Another factor is Eric Wilson. The stats show that Eric had 18 points, but those points, they were a very quiet 18 points. And as I stated, some of those came in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the ball game where they didn't really have any input into the ball game.
Okay, well, an exciting evening here, a very productive evening for IPFW as both the men's and women's teams beat Bellarmine College here tonight in the Great Lakes Valley Conference basketball play. We invite you to join us Saturday night, the 17th of February, at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock for the next basketball games as Northern Kentucky will come in for Great Lakes Valley competition. And tomorrow night, Friday night, the 16th, there will be volleyball here on College Access Channel 6. So for Charlie Washington, and this is Dave Skelton saying thank you for being with us, and good night.